Gabe Miller didn't just carry his stress. He wore it like a leaden coat that had shrunk in the cold. At 44, his life felt like a relentless series of if-onlys. If only the house were larger. If only his lower back didn't throb with every pallet he moved at the distribution center. If only his bank account didn't look like a crime scene by the 15th of every month. He sat in his driveway, the engine of his rusted truck ticking as it cooled in the autumn air. The porch light flickered. Another thing to fix, another demand on his dwindling energy. Inside, he could hear the muffled, chaotic sounds of his family. To Gabe, it sounded like noise. To Gabe, it sounded like debt. The breaking point arrived on a Tuesday night when the water heater finally gave up. Standing in 2 inches of cold gray water in the basement, Gabe let out a sound that wasn't quite a scream and wasn't quite a sob. He felt cheated. He had worked 60-hour weeks for a decade, played by every rule, and yet his reward was a flooded cellar and a heart full of jagged resentment. He felt like a man running a race where the finish line moved 10 feet back for every step he took. He stormed out to the back porch to breathe, his chest tight. The neighborhood was quiet, bathed in the artificial amber of the streetlights. His neighbor, an older man named Silas, who had lost his wife the year before and his legs to a factory accident a decade prior, was sitting on his modified deck. "Water heater?" Silas asked, his voice gravelly but steady. "Piece of junk," Gabe spat, his hands shaking. "Everything in this life is a struggle, Silas. I'm tired of fighting for scraps. I'm tired of things breaking. I'm tired of just surviving." Silas stayed silent for a long moment, watching the wind stir the dead leaves in the gutter. "You know, Babe, when I first lost my legs, I spent 3 years cursing the stairs. I hated them. I hated the people who walked them. I hated the very wood they were made of." He paused, tapping the metal arm of his wheelchair. "Then I lost Martha, and suddenly I realized I would have crawled up 1,000 flights of stairs on my bleeding fingernails just to sit at the top and hear her breathe for 5 minutes. Silas looked at Gabe, his eyes catching the light with a terrifyingly clear intensity. "You're standing in a basement full of water because you have a roof over your head. Your back hurts because you have the physical strength to labor. Your kids are loud because they are healthy and vibrant. You're so busy staring at the leaks in the bucket, man, that you've forgotten the bucket is actually full." The words didn't land like a soft comfort. They landed like a punch to the solar plexus. Gabe felt the air leave him. He turned and looked through his own kitchen window. He saw his wife, Sarah, laughing as she wiped a smudge of flour off their daughter's nose. He saw the steam rising from a pot of cheap pasta. He realized then he had been treating his blessings as if they were burdens. He had been so obsessed with the more that he had rendered the now invisible. Gratitude wasn't a fuzzy feeling or a greeting card sentiment. It was a discipline. It was the refusal to let the friction of life grind away the value of the machinery. Gabe didn't go back down to fix the heater immediately. He walked inside, ignored his wet socks, and hugged Sarah from behind. He squeezed her so hard she gasped in surprise. "What's that for?" she asked, smiling. "For everything," he whispered. The water heater was still broken. The bills were still due. His back still ached. But as Gabe stood in his kitchen, the noise finally sounded like music. He wasn't enduring a life anymore. He was finally inhabiting one. He looked at his calloused, stained hands, hands that could fix things, hands that could hold a family. And for the first time in a decade, he didn't want anyone else's.